Okay, our recording has started. Hello and welcome to the PowerShell community call. Everyone is welcome. We're getting started now at 9:30 a.m. PST. Just FYI, this meeting is recorded. The recordings will be uploaded about a week after the call, sometimes a little earlier. You can find past community calls on the YouTube channel, and the link is in the chat. It's the PowerShell and DSC community channel or team channel. Please remember our code of conduct. We do take that very seriously, and there's a link to the code of conduct in the chat as well. Also, it would be great to review our contribution guide, which is in the PowerShell repo, and you'll find that in the GitHub link there in the chat under PowerShell/PowerShell with contributing.md. And then finally, while we did not have an entry in September or October in the discussions in the PowerShell repo, that is typically where we discuss what will be on the agenda leading up to the meeting. I didn't see an entry, but I went ahead and put the link in there for future reference, just so if anybody wanted to put something in for next time, that'll be the place to keep an eye on things. So with that, we have an agenda to get through. I'm going to actually give the floor to Stephen first to talk about some Ignite sessions coming up.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. I'll make this pretty quick, but wanted to share Ignite is coming up at the end of November. I believe it's November 18th through the 21st, the week before the US Thanksgiving holiday. And we will have some PowerShell representation there. Myself and Damian Carroll will be at Ignite this year. We'll be sharing about some of the AI enhancements that we're doing to the Azure Client Tools to help you write and work with Azure CLI and Azure PowerShell. We have a session there. Let me find the exact breakout link, but we will be we will be boothing and around Ignite. So just wanted to call out if you did want to chat with us about PowerShell while there, do find us. We'll be at the monitoring and management booth of Ignite as well. So here is the session if in case anyone is curious. I do not know yet if it will be live streamed or not. It may be the recording may be found after the session. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. But yeah, that's all I had on as far as Ignite stuff.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephen. I saw in the chat that Dongbo is running 5 minutes behind. Andy, I had you up next in my list. Would you mind going next?
I'm here, awake and ready to tell you one very nice, simple, short, sweet, but great update. We do have a news table release of the extension out. This is great because it includes, this was in the preview that we probably may have talked about in the last one, but it includes that PS read line 244. And not to step on toes, but that 244 beta 4 will eventually GA for PS Readline. It has the screen reader support, so it's a lot more accessible. And we are working to get that. It should be in the latest preview of PowerShell 7.6, and the plan is that it GAs and is included in a GA in PowerShell, as well as being in the current, I guess, GA, but stable release of the extension right now, where we're a little more lenient on the fact that it's a beta. So yeah, please install the extension. It's great. We had a lot of community contributions go into this one. There's some cool work on being able to do some path mapping for remote debugging. So if you're doing debugging on a remote server and you're not using any of like the already supported tools like PSRP or the built-in like VS Code over SSH, you can just have an arbitrary set of map these paths to these paths when I look at them in the debugger. Liam got this in specifically, I think his use case is for like debugging over Ansible, but because it's very generalized, it's just you supply your own mappings. It makes it really useful for a lot of different cases. Those are kind of the big feature updates. A lot of bug fixes went in, a lot behind the scenes on getting signing working again so we could get this out to the marketplace. But yeah, that's about it. I'll drop a link to the release.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. It doesn't look like Dongbo has joined yet. Steve Lee, would you be interested in jumping in and talking about DSC Preview 6?
Yeah, sure. So I don't have any like big announcements here. We did release 3.2 Preview 6, I think it was last week. And we're moving towards the next preview. The only thing I really want to call out is There's a couple of major. So if you're trying to contribute to the DC project, I think Mikey did some phenomenal work here to really reduce the build times. So he was able to leverage a thing called Rust workspaces, so that helped up quite a bit. Also, I want to call out Heist continues to contribute a lot of features, so we are getting more and more functions. We're almost at parity with ARM. And also want to call out Thomas Neto as well, where he's raising some good issues on real world cases. And for me, I will always prioritize real cases from partners and customers over future work that just needs to be done eventually. So answering a question from Austin, yes, DC 3.2 preview 6. So we're going to continue moving down that path. No target date, well, no specific date yet for when 3.2 GAs, but my expectation is we'll probably GA sometime towards the end of this calendar year, and then move towards a 3.3 release after that. The goal for 3.2 still, although it's going to be a challenge, get bicep capability in. We know some challenges there, and we'll see how far we can get. Otherwise, it'll be part of 3.3. That's pretty much it. Actually, one more thing. If you did not see the if you were not at MiniCon, was it yesterday or Tuesday? Tuesday. Then I did do a presentation. So one of the newer things in DC 3.2 is MCP server support. So if you're interested in AI, trying to play with some of that, one thing I'll just say, like I think recordings for the sessions will show up later, but it's a learning experience and it's still work in progress, and it doesn't work the way exactly I want it to work. But there's more work over time will improve that over time. So the idea is that you can talk to Copilot and say, hey, here's what I want to do, and then hopefully it'll discover resources and generate configs and stuff in the future. That's it.
Cool. Thank you, Steve. Aditya, why don't we have you go next, since we're still on topic with DSC, and then I see Dongbo has joined. We'll go Aditya, and then Dongbo, and then Tess.
Sounds good. I have a small demo of a new DSC resource for managing the PowerShell profile. So as you know, the profile is there are multiple profiles in PowerShell: current user, current host, or current user, all host, and so on. So we have a new DSC resource, DSC B3 resource to manage those profiles. This is how the schema of it looks like once it pulls up. So this is so it has a required property, which is a profile type, which would be one of these 4 values. And the other property on the schema is the content, which is the content you want to put in the profile. Currently, we do not support appending to the profile or prepending. Currently, it's always an override, but appending, prepending would follow in later versions. So to give you a quick demo, I have a profile for. So this is how you do a get operation on the profile, which will give you the current value of the current user, current host. And so currently it is welcome to the PS profile. And similarly, you can use, this is how, for setting up the new value, I'm setting up the current user, current host. And then I would execute a set operation on the DSC resource, which would set that value. And we can either get the same value, or we can use the another DSC operation, which is the DSC export, which will give me values for all the 4 various profiles we have. So as you can see, the previous value was, so this is the before state, where the previous value was welcome to PS profile, and the new one is welcome to community call, which is the one which we set right now. And if you do an export, it's going to show you the values of all the profiles you have. The export can be used to make just save all the values you have, and you can obviously have it displayed as a YAML or a JSON or to your liking. That's it.
I love it. Thank you very much. Dongbo, why don't we hand over to you to talk a little bit about the PowerShell releases?
Yep. Sorry I was late.
No problem.
So a quick update on the PowerShell release. We had the PowerShell 7.6 preview 5 out last week on October 9th, Thursday. And I just want to highlight a couple changes that were included in 7.6.5. Let me share my screen. So, oh, sorry. Well, there are many changes included in this preview because like it's been a few months since the last preview for 7.6, but I just want to highlight three fixes. One is the all-grid view. It's a long-awaited fix, like because the binary formatter was deprecated in .NET 10, .NET 9 actually, so it was broken in even 7.5, and we finally had a fix in the 7.6, and it will be back. I think it will be backported to 7.5. So with this fix, the all-grid view will be working again. And the second one I want to show is that this is another long-awaited issues or fix. It's if we look at the issue, it's actually because like PowerShell, whenever I have a PowerShell instance start, will start up a listener, a named pipe listener that's waiting for a client to be to hook up with it so that you can do debugging for the current PowerShell session. But in most cases, like I won't say most cases, but in many cases, this listener is not really needed, but we don't have a way to disable it. So it caused a lot of issues before. Like it's gonna on Linux systems, they're gonna leave the named pipe files behind when PowerShell exit, and we had a fix back in 7.3 or 7.2 to clean up. But on Linux, this it's not guaranteed to be cleaned up, like always be cleaned up. For example, if PowerShell is terminate abruptly, like it's not terminated because of the exit command, but it's terminated because the process was queued, then the named pipe files will be left over. And that caused some issues to our partners and to many users out there. And that's why I can see this is a very, very long thread with many comments actually in it. Like there are 64 remaining comments over there. So we finally got the changes in, which is simple change to have to introduce a new new environment variable, so that if you set environment variable to you try to opt out, you set it to true or 1, then the named pipe listener will now be started when you start PowerShell session for that process. So that's the second one. The third one is this change. So we had this problem that if you use a package manager like winget or Chocolatey to install a tool, and basically the package manager will put the tool into the passive environment variable. However, the change to the environment variable will not affect the current session of the PowerShell. So even after you install the tool, you probably won't be able to use the tool in the same session. And this PR fixed that thing. So it's basically for the registered, like for the package manager that have been registered to a registered key. For those package managers, the PowerShell gonna monitor. Okay, if this package manager gets called, then it's gonna save the previous environment variable values and then check with the environment variables after the command run. And if it see the changes to the environment variable, for example, something was added in beginning or something was added in the end, then it will try to bring that changes back to the current PowerShell session. So for this one, I want to show a demo. So currently I'm running in PowerShell 7.4, so I want to show what's happening before this change. Like I don't have winget installed, so I can do winget install wget, I think. So installing wget using winget, it will actually install the package, and then it's gonna put the path to the package. It's gonna install the tool, and it's gonna put the path to the tool in my environment variable, in my passive environment variable. So like if I start a new session, let me see, I will be able to see wget here, and if I see, like check the passive variable, you can see that it was added to the end of it. That's a new session again. So we're back to the original session where we installed the winget. If I try to run winget, you won't be able to do it, because if you check the path in this session, it's not updated compared to here. However, okay, now let me uninstall it and try it again in PowerShell 7.6. So when git uninstall. All right, just to make sure it's gone. Yep. And look at the path again. It's gone. So now let me start 7.6. Again, it's not available. So when git install and it's able to run winget directly after installation in 7.6. Okay, so that's the 3 changes I want to highlight for the 7.6 preview file. Thank you.
Cool. And while we're on the topic of PowerShell, we did want to communicate, as sometimes happens, we're expecting a delay in shipping the RC. We're thinking weeks, not months, but we wanted to, just let people know to expect that. And then forecasting it out, if the RC is slightly behind schedule or behind schedule, that probably will mean that the GA date is later than we expected. So we'll try to communicate a firm date, once we have that in mind, but just wanted to give people a heads up. And I think next on my agenda list was Tess to talk about OpenSSH.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, folks. Just wanted to say that we are also working on getting out the next release for Win32 OpenSSH. That will be the 10.0 release. Some of the changes that are coming, I just want to highlight. The first is post-quantum hybrid algorithm support for key exchange. So Upstream has had support for one of these algorithms for a little while, I think since 8.9, and in 9.9 added support for a second algorithm. This will be our first release supporting both of them, and they will be preferred by default. So there won't be any user input required or configuration to start using these for the KEX exchange. And this release also continues the process separation of the SSH server by functionality. So there will be a new binary to isolate authentication called SSHD auth. So keep an eye out for the preview release coming soon, and please continue to provide any feedback. Thanks.
Thanks, Tess. Appreciate it. And next, Sean Wheeler, everybody's favorite topic. Sean always does a wonderful job with our docs update. Sean, you have the floor.
All right. Let me share my screen. I'm going to drop some links. The big update we've already talked about, what's new in PowerShell 7.6 with the new preview. I will add to Dongbo's comment about the out grid view. That has already been backported in 7.5. It was in the 7.5.3 release. So it made it into that release before it made it into 7.6 preview. So that's already fixed. 7.4 didn't have the problem because it's on a different version of .NET. A couple things to note. There's some updates to versions of modules that ship in 7.6. Most notably, this version of PS Readline has the fix in it that improves the user experience with screen readers. So that's all. That's been included now. And take a look at all the myriad of changes that have gotten in so far. So many contributions from the public. The other big update that I want to point out is I finally got around to updating the documentation for how to use the new version of Plat EPS. The commandlet reference documentation has been here for a while, but now I have articles that walk you through the process of creating or updating your content. Several new articles here. So a brief overview of the types of help that PowerShell supports, how to create new markdown content for your module, how to update existing This edit article, I want to point out, explains the structure of the markdown that's very important to Plat EPS. You can't change this structure. It has to follow this pattern, but within each of these sections, you have a lot more freedom of format than you had before. And then I've explained each of these sections and things to watch out for, and provided examples of what's supposed to go in. There's a lot more diagnostic information with the new version of Plat EPS. There's this diagnostics property, so you can now see what the new Plat EPS thinks about the structure of your content. In this example, this warning is okay. The notes section header exists, but there's no content. You're allowed to have an empty notes section, but you're not allowed to not have the header. And then the last step, converting it to MAML, and how to publish it. So if you're going to ship the content with the module, where all that needs to be laid out in the module folder, and if you want to create updatable help, how to do that. So that's what's new in Docs.
Thanks, Sean. Excellent work as always. One note I wanted to add, since we're at the end of all the agenda items, except for demos, typically following the calendar year, the October call, just given the schedule, would end up being the final, I guess, community call of the year that we are leading, and that leaves space for one more occurrence that the community can lead. I don't think there's been any discussion yet of if anybody would like to lead a community call, and if so, who. So we can start a discussion over in the PowerShell repo and work that out. But I just wanted to set that expectation and get people thinking about it. I know Jan had mentioned to Jason, or I guess Jason asked me to ask if Jan was on the call to talk about Oh My Posh. So I wanted to.
He informed me that he's having internet issues right now, so he'll have to defer to next time.
Okay, that sounds fine. I saw in the chat, James, you had mentioned that you might be interested in doing a demo if time allows. Is that still the case? If he has dropped as well, then we may just give it a few minutes. Is anybody else interested in doing a demo today? If not, totally fine. Okay, I will end the awkward silence. Thank you everybody for joining. Really appreciate all of the updates, and we'll look forward to talking to you again, either at the community call led by the community, if we do one yet this year, and if not, we will see you again in 2026. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.